In the world of minimalism, we talk a lot about all of the items that we don't buy, don't use, and don't need, but not nearly as often do we talk about the items that we actually do buy and do use, and that actually help us to maintain our minimalist lifestyle. In this video, I'm going to be going over the top 8 things that I use on a near daily basis to help me maintain my minimalist lifestyle. All the things I'm about to discuss are things that are either very versatile and eliminate the need for multiple other items, or they're things that help me physically keep my house clean and clutter-free, or they're things that just add value to my life, because with minimalism, it's not always about less, it's about eliminating the things that are not important to you so you can make more room and more time for the things that are. Without any further ado, let's get into it. So the very first item, which I couldn't make this video without mentioning, is my cast iron skillet. This thing is by far the most versatile piece of kitchen equipment that I own, and it fills the need of so many different things. You can do anything in this pan, from grilling to baking cookies. Cast iron is known for retaining heat very well, cooking very evenly. You can put it on the barbecue, you can put it on the stovetop, you can put it in the oven itself. Additionally, it adds trace amounts of iron into your food to prevent deficiencies, and it's naturally antimicrobial and antibacterial. It gets so hot that it basically burns the germs off the same way that a barbecue grill would. If you take care of a cast iron pan, it can last you pretty much indefinitely. I know there's people who pass these things down from generation to generation, and they don't have to be expensive. This one cost me $20, and I've had it for years now, and it just seems to get better with time. The more that you use it, the layer of seasoning accumulates and builds up. It adds extra flavor to your food. It's naturally non-stick, and it's something that I absolutely could not live without. Item number 2 is my cordless vacuum. This thing is not a real Dyson. At the time that I got it, I was certainly not in the market to spend $600 to $700 on a vacuum, so I got this one off Amazon for about $300, but it does the trick just fine. For me, having a cordless vacuum is an absolute game changer. I live with a shedding dog, I have a lot of hair, I tend to get a little bit messy when I cook and things fall on the kitchen floor, and by eliminating the friction associated with a big clunky vacuum or a central vac, I'm able to just keep things so much cleaner and tidier and just stay on top of messes so much easier. Eliminating friction is so important when it comes to things that you maybe don't enjoy doing so much, and this vacuum has been a lifesaver for me. And on the topic of keeping your house clean and tidy, item number 3 is a paper shredder. This is, again, a really cheap paper shredder. I actually got this at the thrift store. I paid $4 for it. It's certainly not the best paper shredder in the world, but it does do the trick, and I find it so helpful for eliminating paper clutter, which tends to pile up so quickly. I have switched most of my bills over to paperless, but I still tend to get quite a bit of paper junk in the mail. When I get a document or a bill in the mail, something that needs to be addressed, I take care of it immediately, and then I immediately shred it and stop it from piling up. Paper clutter to me is one of the most annoying things. I remember growing up, my mom always kept piles of bills on the kitchen table so she wouldn't forget to pay them, and it just drove me absolutely crazy. So having this paper shredder to just get them out of the house ASAP is something that I really appreciate. Oh hey guys, just one quick thing before we continue on with the list. If you don't mind, just hit that like button for me really quick. Perfect. Thanks so much. Back to the video. Item number 4 that helps me maintain my minimalist lifestyle is my capsule wardrobe. And I use that term loosely. I know that the term capsule wardrobe is a very clickbaity word and a very clickbaity phrase, and it has different meanings to different people. But for me, having a capsule wardrobe just means having a small wardrobe where things are of high quality and generally neutral colored, so everything can be mixed and matched together. So basically just by having, black pants and some neutral color tops, everything works together, and I don't have to put too much thought into what I'm wearing on any given day. And by focusing on quality over quantity, I don't have an abundance of clothing, but the things that I have fit me well, and they last a long time, and they wash and wear beautifully. I know we just talked a little bit about friction when it came to the vacuum cleaner, but another source of friction for a lot of people is the decision fatigue associated with picking out your clothes every day. So by wearing more or less the same thing every day, or at least knowing that everything I have looks good together, I can completely eliminate that friction and that decision fatigue and just get on with my day a lot quicker. As I was saying before, minimalism is not always about less. Sometimes it's about quality, and it's about intentionality, and it's about the small pleasures in life. And so while I tend to be pretty frugal in a lot of ways, there are certain areas in where I think that it's worthwhile spending a little bit more and investing a little bit more in things that are going to dramatically improve the quality of your life. And one of those things is quality linens. For me, there is very little in the world that is more important than a good night's sleep. In fact, when I'm thinking about it, I can't really think of anything that is more important to me than a good night's sleep, which is maybe not a good thing, but sleep is a huge thing to me. It's so important. Without a good night of sleep, I'm not a functioning person. I'm barely a functioning person anyways, but with no sleep, I'm even worse. I find that I can't do my job well. I'm difficult to be around. I'm unpleasant to be around, quite honestly. And I just find that it completely affects my mood and my physical and my emotional health so much. So having a good night's sleep on quality, comfortable linens that are soft and cool and just help me relax when I get into bed is such a good investment and something that I really, really feel is an important part of everybody's life. And just because we're talking quality doesn't necessarily mean that we are talking about a lot of money or very expensive things. I know there's a lot of like luxury brands out there that are charging hundreds and hundreds of dollars for sets of bed sheets. These are not that. This set was about $40 or $50, nothing crazy, but they're just soft and they're good quality and they wash and wear. And to me, they make all the difference in my overall quality of life. So speaking of quality of life, item number 6 is what I'm going to call small luxuries. And small luxuries are going to be small, seemingly inconsequential purchases, maybe $10 or less, that just give you a little bit of happiness in your day. For some people, that might be candles or essential oils. For me, it's nice hand soaps and dish soaps and just things that smell nice. I find that having a little bit of a fancy, pretty smelling dish soap on my kitchen counter helps to make after dinner cleanup a little bit more pleasant. I like to get scents that are kind of seasonal. So in the spring and summer, my favorite is Mrs. Meyer's Lilac. And in the fall, I might go for something that's kind of like apple or pumpkin spicy. Really a small thing overall, but something that I just find adds a little bit of happiness to my day. And again, in minimalism, we talk about frugality, we talk about necessity, but it's really important not to ignore the things that are small that actually add value to your life, even if they're really tiny things. Sometimes those things make the biggest overall difference. Item number 7 is definitely one of the most versatile items I have in my home, and I'm gonna go for a stretch here and say maybe that it's one of the most versatile items in existence, and that would be a mason jar or a bunch of mason jars. Mason jars are so useful for so many things. For me personally, I use them predominantly in the kitchen. I use them as drinking glasses. I use them as food storage. Sometimes I freeze things in them. They can go in the freezer, the dishwasher, the microwave. The thick glass is super durable, and all the time that I've had these, and these are several years old, I think I've only ever broken one, and they just reuse so well. Unlike plastic Tupperware, they don't leach smells or flavors into your food. You can put a lid on them and take them to go as like a travel cup or with your lunch or anything else. And it's really environmentally friendly too, because like I said, they're glass and they last forever. Best of all is that they're super affordable. A case of a dozen mason jars costs around $10 and they last forever. And okay, fine, you get a little bit of those hipster credit points too. You get a little bit of that Pinterest aesthetic, but you know, who's counting? And finally, item number 8 is something that I kind of feel embarrassed to say that I really don't feel like I could live without, and that is my smartphone. And when it comes to versatility, it's unmatched. It's a smartphone. It's kind of a must-have in today's society. Worth noting is that this is absolutely not a new fancy expensive model. In fact, this is an iPhone 7. I don't even know if they sell this model anymore. If they do, it's probably the oldest one available that you can buy new. But it does everything I need it to do. You don't need to have the newest and the fanciest and the best and the most expensive all the time. It's really important to find the items, and particularly in tech, to find the tech that meets your needs and not to go above and beyond that just for the sake of doing it. This thing allows me to stay connected with my friends and family, to run my business, and to basically just do everything. I hate to say it, but my whole life is in this phone, and if I lost it, I would be so screwed. I've had this phone for about 3 years now, and it is starting to get a little bit slow and a little bit bogged down, and the battery isn't quite what it used to be, but I plan to keep it and hang on to it until it is dead and in the ground and in a million pieces, and at that point, I will probably upgrade to whatever the cheapest, oldest available model is at that time, whether that's an iPhone 8 or whatever else. But I will never be that person who stands in line at Apple to fork over $2,000 to buy the newest phone, because honestly, at least for me, it's just not necessary. The camera on here is perfectly good, the GPS functions great, it does everything I need it to do, and I definitely don't see the purpose of trying to fix what's not broken, but I will say a smartphone, with the caveat of an older smartphone, is probably a minimalism must-have, and probably just a normal life must-have at this point, unfortunately. Anyways, that's it. These are the top 8 items that I feel help me to live minimally and intentionally and help to add to my overall quality of life. If there's anything that I missed on this list that you feel helps you to live more minimally and more intentionally and helps you to have a better quality of life, leave me a comment down below and let me know. If you haven't done so yet, please go ahead and hit that like button. I really appreciate all of you watching my videos and liking my videos. And if you haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing. You don't have to, but I would really appreciate it if you did. And if you like this kind of content, you may as well, because I got more of it coming out every week. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you next weekend. Take care.